Hi YouTubers, it's Roxanne Holland here from Rox's Cards and Crafts. So today for a tutorial, this is the second half. Now I've already done one for Design Space for the people that own Cricut machines, but I'm a part of a card group, and there's a lot of people that asked how to do this, but a lot of them do not have Cricuts or Brother Scanner cuts or silhouettes or all the multitudes of cutting machines that are out there. So a lot of them do have Windows, and that's what I use. So I'm using Windows 11. Some of you, or even a lot of you, may still be on Windows 10. So this is Windows 11 version 2021. So here on the screen what you'll see is this is actually Design Space, but I'm taking you into Microsoft Word in a minute. But this was just to show you quickly, because I'm very used to using Design Space, some of the designs that I'm using. Now, even when using Design Space, I had to download this torn paper effect, and it is a PNG file. You have to download backgrounds, and you have to download the image of the little peekaboo, in this case little cutie furry cats and emus and rabbits. That's just a background, and we've got Tasmanian devils, and we've got a couple of cute kangaroos. Now these furry critters, these little cuties, there's some beautiful little rabbits over here. I designed those, and I do have what I call a Ko-fi shop. It's Ko-fi. I'll leave a link in the description, and I have two separate packs. So I'll show you now how to install all these things on your computer so that you can follow along when we get into Word, and we can follow along seamlessly, or you can watch the whole thing and then go back and stop and pause and stop and pause as we do. Sorry, go to the description and click on the link that will take you to the torn paper. Now this torn paper will cost you nothing, but have a look at everything else in there while you're there. And if you need to look at anything else to purchase, it can be done all at once. This site is very easy, and it will take a credit card or PayPal, okay? And I'm always an email away, no problems about that. But here you've got backgrounds. If you chose, say, the backgrounds, and they're $3, you get 41 of these. Now scroll down and play it and have a look and see the backgrounds. This is the one where I will be using the fence with the bushes and the blue sky. So that's a $3. Let's go back. Then you've got your little peekaboo lovable babies. That's set 1. Again, just scroll down and you'll see a video. And the same for peekaboo, the cuties set 2, which is the one I'm using today. So like I said, you have to download all these before we start. I have done a bit of a shop around to see if there's any cuties that you can get. I didn't try Etsy, but this shop is a bit like Etsy. I don't have a shop on Etsy, but I do have a shop here. And this is a digital download. You'll get that instantly, and I really, really appreciate your support. So that's really all you need to do. As long as you've got some kind of background and a little cutie and your torn digital effect. This is all we need for this lesson today. Now we're going to open up Windows. So I'll start a new one, but this is the card design that I want to do today, minus this thing that I can't seem to get rid of. So I'm going to start a new design. And if you had noticed back there I had a green page. So I'm going to do, there's 3 steps that we want to do. We're going to change the colour of the background. Just think of it as a virtual canvas. We're going to make sure that that canvas colour does not print when you print out the card, because you'll be printing your card on white and we do not want it to print the green background. Then we are going to change the measurements. In other words, if you use imperial measurements or metric measurements, so inches and centimetres, I'll show you how to change those because you're going to need to know how to do that as well. So let's start with changing the background colour. So you're in the home page, go to Draw, Format Background, and then you'll see Page Colour. So let's pick nothing too harsh, but nothing too soft. No, that wasn't the green I liked. Doesn't matter, I shall go in again. I like this green. Need to go to Home, press File, go right down to Options. Display, and here we've got Print Background Colours and Images. Notice it says background. It means this is your background. We don't want it printed, so make sure that that is unchecked. If that's checked, that's unchecked, and then press OK. Now to change the metric or imperial, File, down to Options, then find Advance. You need to scroll down until you see, keep going, Display, and over here show measurements in units of, so I use inches, but you can change it to centimetres, and then press OK. Now I've got a tip for you while we're on the subject of measurements. So you know how I'm doing, let's insert a shape and insert a square. So you know how I am working in inches? I'm going to show you something so that you can still work along with me until you get to know what you're doing. So say you work in centimetres, but I'm showing you inches. Now go ahead and work with the inches for now. Okay, so your height is 575 and the width is 3.75. That's what's going on. The width, all right, 3.75 by 5.75. All right. Now these are the measurements that I'm giving you, but you're going to say, okay, but what's that in centimetres? So you're following me along, just keep following me along, as I said, until you get to know it. Then when you get to know it, do it in the inches, but go and change your measurements now. So Advance, scroll down to see Display, and then you can change this to centimetres. Okay, and it will be the same, it won't change, and that'll tell you that I am using 9.53 centimetres by 14.61 centimetres. So you can do that, and that's my little tip for you today. So I'm going to go back, File, Options, Advance, scroll down to Display. It's a shame it's not at the top. change that back to inches and then okay. And that's how easy it is. So follow along with me and my inches, and then you can swap that over to your centimetres once you get to know what you're doing. So they're the first three fundamental things that we need to understand. Now that you've brought in everything, all the images, the PNG images, whether it be from my Ko-fi shop or from somewhere else, we need to bring those in. And to bring those in, we simply go to Insert, Pictures, this device. Now, when you brought them in, you needed to, your computer should be formatted for it to go straight to downloads. So that's where you find them. If you're doing it on the same day, if not, put them in a folder where you can find them. So I'm going to go to downloads because I know that they're there. And what I'm going to do is bring in this torn paper, this background with the fence, and the kangaroos. Now, when I first went back in to start training myself how to use the window, I've only been using Windows 11 for about a year now, but to design in Microsoft Word, which I'm enjoying, I would probably just do one image at a time. But with, can't see it that well on here actually, when you hover over a design, okay, you press down your control button and that should, there it is. So you sort of have to click in between or even out of it, so it's got to stay blue. Then what I want you to do is hit your control key on your keyboard and select the background, wait for that to highlight, and then the kangaroos. Lift your finger off the control button and they stay highlighted. Now this is Windows 11. I don't think 10 does it, but you could just still go control. See how they went off? I don't know why. So I'm going to do that again. Control, that, and then I'm going to go insert. So that should let me insert all of those images without having to go back and forth one. But if it doesn't work for you, just bring them in, insert, and then your image one by one until you're learning. That's fine. So this won't move. None of these will move until we go to the layout options. This one I want to be at the front. This one I want to be at the front. I'm going to move that one, and then that one's in the right position. I want that to be behind text. Even though there's no text there, I want it behind. So that way, these guys will all fit where they need to be, and then we just resize them. There's going to be a very, very important step here. We need to see layers on the side, and this is what you can see in a lot of designing programs. Because we are designing things, we need to see our layers. If they're all on top of each other and all the same size, for example, it would be hard to, I need to get to that back. I can't get to it. I can get to that one, I can't get to that one, but I'd have to move everything else. What you do is you go picture format and you go to the selection panel, and then your layers will turn up. We need to rename them. So the one that's highlighted at the moment is the torn paper. We're just going to highlight that and go torn paper and enter. See what that one is. That's the kangaroos. And the last one is, So you can use your arrows on your keyboard as well. The last one, picture 4, is, well, let's just put fence. So this is very important. So you when you do your text, that will come up there as well. But that makes it easier. Now, this torn paper, I made it to fit a 6x4 card. So it's going to be a topper. It can have a piece of colour behind it, a bit of matting behind it. And then you've got your card base. So your card base is 4x6. If you've seen any of my other tutorials, you'll see that I do use a 4x6 card. So in landscape, it'll be 6 inches, the card, by 4 inches. And all my toppers are always 3.75 by 5.75. So if you use the A2 measurements, make sure you do your topper accordingly. But for now, I'm doing this, so obviously you can change it, because now you've changed your centimetres and you should be used to using your own measurements. So this card will print. Now when I first did this, and I did some printing just to see, because I don't normally do it this way, I did it to see how those that don't have a cutting machine, all they need is windows and a printer, and either a ruler and X-Acto knife to cut the 3.75 by 5.75 rectangle around it. But if you wanted that to be easier, you could put a picture border around already by going into, so anything you want to do to this picture, you need to go into picture format. So your picture border, you can have outline or no outline. You can pick a colour, right, and that will give it an outline, and I really think that's very, very handy because especially if you wanted to do the same thing and did an eclipse card and used a die, you would need the pictures to be identical and to cut them. So, you know, and then if you wanted to, what you could do is we'll go into that picture border and you can make the weight, right, as big or as little as you want. And then I thought, well, on cardstock, because I just printed it on copy paper, but on cardstock, it would look like that there is a border, a black border, right, behind it. So you could make that any colour if you wanted to, all right? And then all you would have to do, it still keeps the same size. Hang on a minute, does it? Yes. Still keeps the same size. And you would just cut it along the line. And I think that that is much easier. But if you didn't want that border around, you would just have no outline. So the choice is yours, but I think I will do it with an outline today and a bit of a thick one. So I'm going to press black and let's see what weight. I don't want too much. I'm going to use that weight, which is, what was it? Right. I'm going to use 3 point for the line around. Now it's just a matter of positioning the fence. So we're going to pull the fence so it gets hidden behind the right hand side of the card. And here what we have to do is select these both. Oops, we need to get rid of that so that it goes down. So around the top, the right hand side and the bottom, it doesn't have to be the same measurements as the topper because it goes behind. What it does have to be is perfect with the left hand side. So we go over here, we select the torn paper, hit control and then hit the fence. We go up to picture format and then align to the left. And hopefully we don't move that again. Now the kangaroos with their little paws, they're a bit too big, a bit too in your face. And I'd like them to be sort of sitting in between the two trees. I think that's good. Okay, now you want to insert a text. So we're going to insert a text box. So go insert shapes. And this is your text box here up the top. So it just makes a text box there. We're just going to use the word hello. I'm going to show you how to also use some fancy scrolling in your text. But you need a character map on your computer. And the one I use is Character Map UWP. So I'm going to open that up. Quickly give you a little tour around Character Map UWP and what to do. So you can have all your favourite, you got my favourites, glyphs and swishes and swashes. So I might save all the fonts that I download, and I try to do this every time I install it onto my computer. Alright, so I know I've got it on Angelica, and if you like that one, I got that one from Creative Fabrica, but check defont.com first. But I thought what I'd do is everybody loves I love glitter. That's what it's called. So I'm going to go into the eyes and select I love glitter because that gives me a good way to show you an example on how to use your swishes and everything. You don't have to, but this is handy for you to know. I've shown on a couple of other tutorials. There's going to be new people every time. So we'll use the little love. Now, keep your eye down the bottom left-hand side. You've got to double click a character or use the add-on button. So your add-on button's there, or you can just double click. So I'll do the add-on first. So if you clicked the heart and it always comes over here, you can go add-on. And then that'll go down to the preview area down the bottom here. So we want a capital H. So I'm going to double click now. It's a lot faster. Go and get a small, need the small e. Other way there. ABCDE, double click. Two small L's and an O. Add. And I'm going to put one of those hearts at the end. So how do we go from getting this onto a program that doesn't have the capabilities of doing this? Well, this is where this program is good, UWP. All you have to do is go over here and go copy. So the name is I Love Glitter. You've just got to remember the font that you used. And then you come over here. But you need to select I Love Glitter in in the drop-down menu of MS Word. And while that's highlighted, you just go Control V. So we're going to highlight it down there. We're going to go Control V. Now, I do not want this text box around this word. I don't want anything around it. So as you do, you go up to Shape Format. Now, the box wasn't a yes, it was a shape. So we'll go over here to Shape, not text, but Shape. For our shape fill, we want no fill. And for the shape outlines, we want no outlines. We can now move this guy up here. And we're going to resize that to about, I think, 28. See how that goes. Use your arrows on your keyboard to move it around. And there you have your text using a fancy font. Now, hello the colour could be quite stark. I usually like making it, let's go to home. I usually like making it a nice, it's not red, is it? Yes. Sort of like a grey. The blacks just get a bit too dark. Use that one. Just make it a little bit darker. And that is it for the text. Okay, so you can see I have printed these two with the black border. So I'm going to put this on my Fiskars. I don't normally use this board because I don't normally cut things like this. So I'm going to put it on right at the edge. So this one has a wire. The blade, this one, dog is walking around. Okay, the blade is on the left-hand side of the wire. So the wire hopefully has got to be right on that line. Right up against, butted up against there, and is hoping that I cut it properly, and I didn't. So to fold my cards, so this measures 8 inches by 6 inches. And we're going to score at the 4. Just going to turn that around, butt it in the corner, and then on the score line, just butting everything up. And we get a beautiful, crisp card base. So I'll just show you how to put one on. Oh, are they? So remember, it was a 6 by 4. And then having that black, printing that black as well, looks like it's got a black matting behind it. I'll show you one that I actually did put a black mat behind. I've actually got black cardboard behind that one, and spot the difference. You can't really. So I like that idea of doing that box around that image. And all I do is use my ATG gun. All I use is my ATG gun and glue. I used to go and buy all sorts of, let's do it that way. So as that is 1/8 of an inch all around, just make sure before you stick it down. So your card is done. And how I use these, I've got a couple of pen pals that I just send them a letter to stay in touch. And that is it, guys. So please like, share and subscribe. I would love for you to show me your cards on my Cricut Connect group, which I'll leave a link for you in the subscription. Don't forget, I'm leaving a link to my Ko-fi store, which will give you links for the torn paper effect, the backgrounds, and I've got other papers and that in there as well, and the 2 cute PNG peekaboo animals. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. I just wanted to give you an idea of something different that you could do with this torn paper effect as well. So you could go ahead and print the torn paper just by itself, and you can use your own pattern paper as well. This card I saw on a Facebook group that I'm a member of, and her name is Cindy Ann, and yes, I did ask her permission to upload a photo or a picture of her card. So I'm going to call this the hybrid torn paper effect, where she has actually torn the paper, the cardstock. So she's printed the PNG file onto the card and ripped it. You can see though that you've got to be very, very, very careful, because you can rip it, but I'm loving this. I love the use of the pattern paper behind it, and I love her label. So thank you, Cindy Ann, for giving me permission to use this on our tutorial.